Mm. Good morning. As I sip this cup of green tea here today, in my super cool mug, not hardcore. So I am a big fan of the guitar player and legend Zakk Wylde. Is my favorite guitar player. A little obsessed, I guess. I have a portrait of him on my arm, and I see him every time he comes to town. Numerous times. I usually go back-to-back nights like a little groupie, and I have his cup from Black Label Society, the mug. So anyway, welcome to the School of Shred, everybody. This is episode 40, Ballin on a Budget. I've had to do this before. Yeah, I've had to figure out how to be healthy on a budget. And what I want to try and share with you guys today is some stuff that I've done in the past, and just kind of go over a nice little grocery list of things that you might be able to buy that can help you get healthy food and prioritize the foods that you could be getting, or the types of foods, like where to spend your money before, where to prioritize, I guess I would say. There's just, when I was in my early 20s, I'm going to get into my story here in a little bit, but when I was in my early 20s, I had to figure out how to do this thing with very little income. And so if you're new to health and you're getting into it, and you want to figure out where to spend your money, where to prioritize, we're going to get into that in this episode. But as you guys jump on, go ahead and comment where you are at, where you're located. Throw me a flex emoji. Let's start contracting muscles in the comments. Let's go. Welcome, school. Love ya. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope you guys stayed healthy. Hope you guys also nourish some relationships, though, and maybe partook in some adult activities or something like that, and it added value to your life, because that's health too. Balance. So welcome to the show. Welcome to Monday. If you guys want to jump on the school's email list, you're going to get some cool stuff, some secret surprises. If you go over to schoolofshredpodcast.com and get your free shred gift, supply your email, and you're going to be hooked up with some cool stuff from the school. It's more of a direct line of communication with some of the content that I'm putting out. So with that said, if you enjoy this episode today, please share it, help the show grow, support your school. So let's get into it. Episode 40, Ballin' on a Budget. Ballin' on a Budget. This is near and dear to my heart. How do you get healthy on a budget? If you get into this thing and maybe you don't have the income to buy all the healthy foods and whatnot, what should you prioritize? What should your grocery shopping excursion look like, your trip, and what are some foods that won't break your bank? And that's what we're going to get into it. What's up, Kirkland? There we go. What's up, Kirkland? Flex it up, baby. So anyway, what are some things that you can buy, and where should you start to spend your money? And I'm just going to give you some stuff that's helped me in the past. It's helped my clients in the past. And we're going to get into just that whole prioritizing. So I talk a lot about prioritizing food quality, right? Food quality is absolutely important. But what I want to get into first is that comes over time. So food quality comes over time. If you've been following me, or you listen to me speak, you know that I'm big on food quality. What does your food eat? What does your food grow in? All of that matters a tremendous amount to me. But that's also coming from somebody who's been doing this for 10 years. So what you should do in the beginning is worry about food sources, whether that's quality or not. And I don't mean not quality. I just mean if you have to get store-bought meat and it's not grass-fed in the beginning, that's fine, because anything is better than nothing. It's better than the alternative of poisoning yourself slowly with high fructose corn syrup and everything, and vegetable oils that are in every product that are toxic to your brain health or toxic to your body. So you can still get healthy without having to buy everything organic, everything hormone free. What I will say is what I try to represent is where I think somebody being healthy should go. So what I am exemplifying in my life is that I'm trying to be a good steward of this information and be a positive pillar for people to look at and go, oh, look at this guy. He's growing his own vegetables. He's got his own meat. He's buying grass-fed meat. That's what I think a health coach is. And so the stuff that I do is guided by what I think a great health coach is. And so, some people don't worry as much about food quality. I am a health guy. I worry about food quality. I don't just worry about macronutrition. I worry about everything. I worry about what is that cow eating that I'm eating. I've seen a lot of stuff, and I've done courses, and I've studied under smart people, and I've read great articles, and it's it seems to be undeniable. Like, what your food eats is absolutely important. What your soil has in it that you grow your vegetables in is absolutely important. It doesn't matter if it's green and it looks like lettuce. There could be two vastly different heads of lettuce that you're consuming. One could have glyphosates that was sprayed with Roundup and pesticides that destroy gut health and bacteria that we know. And then one could be grown in organic soil where they turn the soil, they take care of it, and they try to increase the mineral content every year. It's going to have more micronutrition. But with that said, any of this stuff, any of these foods that we're going to get into here today, you got to start somewhere. And so if you can't afford all this organic food in the beginning, it's fine. Make it a 5-year plan, 10-year plan. This is one reason I want to have, a successful business and a good income. So I don't have to worry about spending this type of money. This has been one of my main goals ever since, I got in the personal training industry in the early 20s. So prioritize food quality over time. So if you can't prioritize it today, if you can't buy grass-fed beef and free-range chicken and really good eggs, free-range eggs and all that today, prioritize it over time. Let's just get you eating some good, healthy foods here. And this is what I did. I didn't have the option. I had to buy the cheaper products in the beginning. So you have to match your budget. That's the other thing I want to bring up. Match your budget. So, I'm all for spending money on food. It should be one of your main priorities, but it just goes into that food quality. If you can't afford to buy a bunch of grass-fed beef, then don't do it. Then just buy regular beef. Okay. So my story, real quick, I moved over to the big city when I was 18 years old, and just a boy with a dream. And I moved over to the big city when I was 18, and I had some really dead-end jobs. I worked in a recycling plant, tearing apart TVs all day and making a minimum wage. At that point, I was making $9 an hour. I think now minimum wage is like 15 or something like that. It's insane in Washington State, and that was only less than 10 years ago. But anyway, I was getting paid weekly, and I remember I was getting paid about $300 a week, and my rent was like $900. And so it was pretty wicked. I think my rent was like, honestly, I think it was like $750 or something like that, for the apartment that I split with my good buddy. Shout out to my good buddy Kels. He's not online. He'll never find him. But anyway, so I wasn't making that much money. And so I had to be really smart about how I spent my money. And so then what I was doing, and then I quit that job and I became a janitor at LA Fitness, and I was riding the bus all the time. So I needed bus money, which was like $250 each way. And I needed to buy groceries, right? So what I would do is buy the big 5 dozen eggs. I got Rob Wolf's book. If you've ever heard of Rob Wolf, he's an awesome guy in the paleo community, one of the main voices. The book that I got was called The Paleo Solution. And it was a great book, talked about full body exercise and just what people did in Paleolithic times. These when we were more connected with our natural world, which is just something I believe heavily in, is that we've been removed from our natural world. And that's a lot of the reason we have all these problems that we have in health, is because we've been removed. So anyway, this book gets into like eggs, and you put like almonds in your eggs. And I was like, awesome, that's perfect. So I went and I would buy those big 5 dozen boxes of eggs from like Safeway or Fred Meyer. And then I bought a big thing of almonds, which was like the big spendy thing because almonds aren't cheap. I bought a big bag of almonds, and I would just take a handful of almonds every morning and throw them in my scrambled eggs. I would get some spinach because it's not that expensive, whip it in, and then do ketchup for it. A huge omelet like that for breakfast. And then when I get home at night, I would do ground beef and like rice. And so that's all cheap stuff. And so, I did that for a really long time. What I would do differently is I spent a lot of money on supplements, and I think I was probably spending more money on supplements than I was food, and it held me back from increasing my food quality for a long time, just because I didn't know how to prioritize. I was trying to buy the supplements, which advertising did a number on me. It made me think that was more important than the food I was eating, which is it's second best, and it's a distant second. Supplements are. So we're going to get into that as well. So anyway, I was taking too many supplements, but I did have to survive off eggs, and that's a very cheap, cost-friendly way to go. And even, good quality eggs are still cheaper than meat. And so if you're eating a bunch of eggs, if you have them a couple times a day, like you have 4 or 5 eggs for 2 of your meals a day, I mean, you're still, you can get really good eggs, a 12-pack of them for like $5 or $6, which is a lot for eggs. But we can also look at, local farms and whatnot, which I'm big on supporting. We should support our local farms. They've been hijacked by big factory farming. They've had their hands tied for years, and they've had to cater to people like us who want to be healthy. So they are very invested in, good quality meat, good quality eggs and all that. But right now is a good time for us to start to be introspective and look at where we're spending our money on our food. And we can actually get good deals if we shop local. So anyway, with that said, let's get into a list that will keep your wallet fat and your gut skinny. Okay, keep your wallet fat and your gut skinny. That's the goal of today. All right, you guys want to do that? You want to do that? Send me a little emoji. Let's see a little emoji in the comments if you guys want to see. You want to hear all about this. Let's see another flex emoji right now. Let's go. Come on, I want muscles contracted in the comments here. I know people are watching. Let's go. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. Let's get into it. So a nice little list here of some stuff that can really help you save some money. First thing I got on here is ground beef. So ground beef, you get 80-20. Don't worry about getting 90-10. It's more expensive, and you're getting less fat. You need fat. Fat is saturated fat, particularly, is good for you. It can be cardioprotective. The issue comes with what else is in your diet. It is not we got to quit blaming the fat and the cholesterol numbers for inflammations issues and excess carbohydrates issues. Okay. So ground beef, don't worry about 90-10. I did that for a long time. I spent way too much money trying to get meat that's pretty much it's in a less natural state if they're pulling fat out of it. So anyway, 80-20 beef. Costco does the 88-12. I think that's their deal. It's not 78-22. I think it's 88-12 is Costco's beef. That's really good. If you go there, we've actually started going to the business Costco. If you guys get a membership there, you can get these huge logs, and I think they're 5 pounds for like less than $30 or something like that, or maybe it's 7 pounds for 25. I don't know, but like that's cents on the dollar that you're getting ground beef from. So you're not going to be getting steaks if you're trying to budget. Okay, you're not going to be buying ribeyes. That can come later down the line. What you need to do is focus on these ground meats, which are much more cost effective and great. And the thing is if you want to get grass-fed beef, if you want to splurge a bit and you have the money to do that, grass-fed beef, a pound of it's like $5.99 or $6.99 a pound. You can find that at most stores. They have it now. And just shop for sales. That's another big thing that you can do. So ground beef is a big one. That's like been a staple of my diet, especially when I'm hurting for money. Ground beef is the most nutrient dense food in the world, other than liver from beef. So you're going to get zinc. You're going to get B vitamins, which are important for cellular metabolism. Zinc is important for a lot of things. One of the things that it does is it can help. It helps thyroid function big time. So it can actually create the active form of vitamin A from the inactive form of vitamin A. The inactive form is what you get from carotenoids. So like beta carotenes from carrots and whatnot. Your body can't utilize that without zinc. So it actually converts it into what's called retinoids or retinol, which is the active form of vitamin A. Also, vitamin A retinol is found in organ meats. And so that's another reason I consume them. They help with There's some stuff that I've seen where they help with growth hormone. Vitamin A does, but also eyes and stuff like that is what vitamin A really gets a lot of credit for. Eat your carrots; it's good for your eyes. That kind of stuff. If you ever heard that, I'm sure you have. So anyway, ground beef, it's a powerhouse. The next thing is eggs. Okay, you can get the 5 dozen eggs for less than $10. That can last a long time. You can have as many eggs as you want when you're doing that. Typically, unless your doctor's telling you and you have a cholesterol issue and they're saying don't eat cholesterol, which if you were my client, there would be a way that we would go about that and trying to go into that. But because I am speaking to a broad audience, obviously it's important whatever your doctor says, like you need to listen to them. So if you have high cholesterol, listen to your doctor. What I will say though is a lot of the stuff that I have seen and studies I've seen is the more cholesterol you consume, the less cholesterol you will make. Okay. So cholesterol is absolutely important, which is why your body creates it. And so that should tell you how important it is. So it regulates cholesterol levels when you eat more of it. All right. But there's some issues that can pop up with cholesterol. But it goes much deeper than just these, like eating higher cholesterol foods. It doesn't exactly work like that. Just like eating fat doesn't make you fat. Eating fat actually helps you burn fat in most cases. There's a bunch of other stuff we want to look at. So anyway, eggs are awesome. That's a great cost-friendly one. Like for less than $10, you could eat for several weeks. Okay. And then you have almonds. A big bag of almonds, like I said, might be $15 to $20. You can get those from Costco or any other store. Costco, obviously, you can do bulk shopping. Those guys, if you throw a handful of those guys in with your eggs, that's a really calorically dense and very nutritious breakfast. You could do it at dinner as well. I mean, you just do what you need to do to get some good calories in your system throughout the day. The next thing is potatoes. Potatoes, for a couple bucks, you can get a bag of potatoes. 2 potatoes a day or 1 potato a day keeps the doctor away. No, 1 potato a day, at night before bed or after workout or whatever it is, you could have a bag of potatoes for a couple bucks that last all week. And so, you're talking about less than $5 there for a whole week's worth of carbohydrates. So that, to me, you cannot argue that like it is, health is really expensive. It's not. You got to know where to spend the money. That's all it is, because I have dealt with that excuse with clients for several years, with people and even friends reaching out for help. And it's like, well, it's everything, it's so expensive to eat healthy. It is not expensive to eat healthy. It's expensive to go out to restaurants and eat healthy. Stop going out. We can't go out anyway now. I think you're getting that. It's not expensive to go buy produce that they're basically throwing at you for cents on the dollar. And vegetables and root vegetables, potatoes are one of them. If you guys want to splurge, get some sweet potatoes. Those are really, I like those a lot. Blood sugar does really well with those. So that's, potatoes and sweet potatoes are good. Rice. I have 50-pound bags of rice. It's my survival food if this world gets any crazier. 50-pound bags of rice you can get from Costco. Okay, those guys are, I think it was like $30 for a 50-pound bag of rice. All right, that's insane. So that could be a carb source for 6 months for $30. And so that's something that you should consider is rice. And I mean, that's, consider it if you don't have an issue with any of these foods. I got to clear that up. It's like if any of these foods are causing any kind of issue and like, you have any type of allergy or sensitivity to them, don't eat them. But these are just general things that are cost effective. So a 50-pound bag of rice, cents on the dollar. Other things that you can throw in just for some variety would be cottage cheese and yogurt. So plain Greek yogurt, not flavored Greek yogurt. Stay away from flavored Greek yogurt, okay? Just because it's Greek yogurt and it's blueberry flavored, there's probably high fructose corn syrup in it and added sugar. Add blueberries to plain yogurt. That's what you want to do right there. So you can get the blueberries on the side or the raspberries or whatever. One thing that I like to do, and I'm going to talk about frozen fruits and vegetables here in a minute. I like to get either cottage cheese or plain Greek yogurt, and I'll take like a half cup of frozen berries, and I'll heat them up in the microwave for a couple minutes, and so they get really hot, and then it creates like almost like a syrup too, because all the juices from the berries, and I dump that over the Greek yogurt. It tastes really good. You get a little bit of bitter with a little bit of sweet. It's a good flavor profile, and so that can be a nice dessert at night that can help limit cravings for, say, like ice cream or anything like that, if that's your jam right now. So cottage cheese, yogurt, those guys are good to throw in. You also got almond butter or peanut butter. Make sure it's just peanuts and salt. I know you didn't want to hear that. Hydrogenated oils are not good for you. You do not want those guys in your body. You don't want vegetable oils or PUFAs in your body. They are toxic. Sorry, like there are certain things that you should avoid. These types of oils are one of them. And so peanuts and salt or almonds straight up, and then you can add your own pink salt. That's what I like to do. I like to get straight almond butter or peanut butter, and I'll take Himalayan pink salt, which has like 89 different minerals in it, as opposed to no minerals in it from iodized salt. But iodine is important for your thyroid, so I get that from other things. I eat seaweed. But anyway, pink salt, I'll add that. I'll stir it into my almond butter or my peanut butter till I get it to that nice salty flavor that I like, which is, I mean, according to my girlfriend, I like things extremely salty. So I got to be careful when I'm cooking. But I'm on a low carb diet, so your kidneys excrete salt. So I lose a lot of salt throughout the day. But anyway, so you can add your own salt to your almond butter and your peanut butter, and stay away from any of those other kind of butter, weird man-made oils that they put in these things. They do taste good, but long-term, you don't want to pay. So almond butter, peanut butter is good. The reason I like almond butter is it tends to do better with people's stomachs. Peanut butter can be problematic. I know for me, my stomach doesn't do very well with it. I notice that my abs get washed out the next day. So there's obviously some type of inflammatory response going on when I have peanut butter. And so I've switched over almond butter myself, and I like it. It might take getting used to if you like peanut butter and you're used to like Jif and all that growing up. But just see how you do with it. But either or, you can get those big things of it. And especially like, again, at Costco, everything's a 2-pack or a 4-pack or a 15-pack of peanut butter. So go for that. Last thing I got on here is frozen vegetables and fruits. So those guys are great because you can preserve them longer. You can throw them in your freezer. They're just a couple bucks. You can get the big bags of whatever it is, cut green beans or the vegetable medleys or the berry medleys. I always got like berry medleys in my freezer on hand. I use those for a lot of stuff. You can put them in protein shakes. You can, put them on the yogurt. You can put it on, you can eat them straight, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of options. I mean, you could even throw them on eggs and do eggs with cinnamon, and you kind of have like a sweet type egg. So again, and that's, you're repurposing those eggs again. So fruits and vegetables are awesome when they're frozen. They don't go bad. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. And that's kind of a good little list right there. So again, let's go through it real quick. So if you were to go to the store and you put a list together, ground beef, a couple pounds of it for the week, you get a 5 dozen thing of eggs, you get a bag of almonds, you get a bag of potatoes or a bag of rice, you get a thing of cottage cheese or 2 or yogurt, you get almond butter or peanut butter, whichever you prefer, but just peanuts and salt or just almonds and salt or just almonds, and you add your own salt, pink salt. And then you got frozen vegetables and fruits. You get a bag or 2 of those, and that could be, eggs will last you several weeks, and then that could be your shopping list every week. And that right there is going to be under $50. Doing that is under $50. It is not a bad thing to do. Another thing I want to get into, a bonus for you right now. A bonus for you is organ meats. Organs are now scrap meat somehow, but they are superfoods. And so organs you can get real cheap. With organs, I do recommend that you get grass-fed, grass-finished, high-quality organ meats. So you can get like chicken livers for $4 for like a pound of it. I mean, they're really cheap at the store. But where I get them, you can get them from a place like US Wellness Meats. They have a really good high-quality organ meats, and you can get those guys for like $10 a pound. Totally worth it though. It's going to jazz your body up with tons of vitamins and minerals. Micronutrition you need to thrive. So, those guys are great. Another thing is buying in bulk. buying in bulk is can help. You got to spend money now, but if you have freezer space, or if you buy a deep freezer and you spend several $100, you think long term on this stuff, you buy a $500 freezer and you can actually save money. One of the ways that you can save money is you shop local, shop at local stores, farmers markets. Sometimes you can get better deals there. We have like a vacuum sealer here that we use that we can do our vegetables from our garden. So we can vacuum seal things, so we preserve things that way. And all of that, I could keep going on that, like canning and all that cool stuff that's been forgotten about that we're into in my house. So local stores, buy in bulk. You can grow your own vegetables. That's a cheap way to go. You buy, for a few cents or a couple bucks, you can buy your vegetables, and then you just tend to your garden, and then you're invested. And this is why I like growing my own vegetables. You're invested in your own health at this point when you grow your own. So if you grow your own, you're not spending money on vegetables anymore. I'm saying, like, this summer, I think the only thing I have bought is meat. That's the only thing we've bought is like meat and some avocados, and then like dressings and my fats, like my good extra virgin olive oils and avocado oils. But that's it. I mean, as far as vegetables and produce, we're growing everything now. We got blueberries going in the back. There's raspberries going in the back. It's just great. And there's a different feeling that comes from putting the work in it and growing your own food. And I know that soil out there is healthy because I've put the time in on it. And I know that nutrition content of these vegetables is going to help me thrive. So yes, it's cheaper, but it's also much more spiritually fulfilling. So grow your own if you can. And then number 3 is shred sales, baby. Shop for sales. Take a couple minutes every week. You get those. I usually use it as fire starting material for my burn pit. But you get the newspaper or whatever in your mailbox, and you'll have all the deals for the week. You might be able to score some really good deals from for meats and whatnot. They might be on sale, a couple bucks down a pound. You might be able to sneak in and get some ribeyes for a really good price or whatever. So shop for sales, shred the sales up. That's something that you can nitpick. And, my grandmother is a master at that, at sales. I've seen her call the store back for like 20 cents. It's pretty crazy, but she comes from, the Great Depression times, and she doesn't play. So I've seen her heckle people on the phone for, Yoplait yogurt. So sales are great. They can help you save money as well. Number 4 is farmers market. I kind of already went into that. You can get cheaper stuff there depending on where you're at. If it's a really trendy farmers market, maybe not. But if you go on like the outskirt towns, you can get, good food that's been grown from good soil, from hardworking people that you're supporting. And that's a win-win. The buy in bulk thing I was talking about. If you buy half a beef, it could be $800 to $1,200. I think a quarter beef is like $800. And if you go in halves with somebody and you get a quarter beef, you're going to need a deep freezer, but you can get grass-fed, grass-finished beef for like $4 a pound. It's pretty wild. And you'll get an assortment of like ribeyes and brisket and New York strips and, meat chunks for stews and ground beef and all of that. You got to pay up front. But long term, if you buy all your meat for 6 months and you deep freeze it, you're getting a superior product that's actually cheaper than grain fed from the store. If you just buy it in bulk from your local farmers, you just got to get on a list. And if you don't want to buy a half a beef, which could be like $1,500, you can go in halves with somebody and you can get a quarter and a quarter. That's a great option if you can do that. It's a little investment up front, but it'll save you long term. And then supplements. So supplements are important. Don't over supplement. It can help if you're not getting a lot of food quality. There's a couple things that I really like that I would recommend if I had a client and they're like, hey, look, what are the basics I'm eating? I got to eat on a budget. So maybe I'm not getting all the nutrition in. I would say fish oil is a high quality fish oil. Don't just get any fish oil. I do a lot of education through the Poliquin group, and they have very high quality fish oils that I use. So fish oil is good. Vitamin D is good. It's also worth getting your vitamin D levels tested. You can do that with a blood test here and there. So that can really help figure out where you're at, especially here in Seattle. We run pretty low on vitamin D a lot of the time. So, which is why I hang out outside all the time in the summer when I can, because it's super healthy for you. So vitamin D and fish oil. But put money into your food first if you can. So before spending hundreds of dollars on supplements and protein powders and intro workouts and creatine and pre-workouts and all of the stuff like amino acid drinks, eat whole food. Get on the whole food thing. And then if you want that stuff extra in addition to it, that's great. I have supplements. As I've said before, I have supplements. I don't use my protein powder every day. I don't even use it every week sometimes. I sometimes I do if it sounds good, if I want like a shake or something like that, but I don't use it every day. A lot of times I don't have a protein shake right after my workout. I eat, I fast, I try to live a pretty natural life in that regard, but I have the stuff around and I do the fish oils every day. I mega dose it sometimes and I pull back on it. I play around with that stuff, but that's all because I'm lucky enough to be able to afford to do that right now. I would not do that if I was hurting like I was before. And so if you want to do this thing on a budget, don't buy supplements. I look back at my early 20s and I was spending like $200 to $300 a month on supplements. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was getting all the anabolic stuff that I was sold on. I was getting all the protein powders. I was getting the pre-workouts and all of that. And I didn't really understand what I was getting. And I would have been so much better off buying more chicken and a better beef and more, higher quality vegetables and, just putting it back in my fridge. That's what man and woman is designed to eat. It's not supplements. Nature wasn't wrong. Caveman before spaceman. I want you to remember that. So spend your money on food if you can. Supplements are just a great addition to, maybe if you don't like fish oils can be really good for you. Fish oils are rich in DHA, which is very, very good for you, but you can also get a lot of benefits from like extra virgin olive oil too. So that's pretty much it, you guys. The last thing on that list, as I just said, is the oils. So spend money on oils. Get good cold pressed extra virgin olive oil. So not like just the cheap oil. If it's rancid, it could be oxidized, and that is going to create free radicals in your body. So you want to really make sure that the quality is there. And so spend your money on extra virgin olive oils. Make sure it's cold pressed. You want to try to make sure that they're not using hexane to extract more from the seed, which is a chemical that you don't really want. You want that real good, clean, pure, unrefined olive oil, which is extra virgin. And the same thing with avocado oil. Primal Kitchen is an amazing company. They do good oils. And I think that's it for today. That's Ballin' on a Budget. Ground beef, eggs, almonds, potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, cottage cheese, yogurt, almond butter, peanut butter, frozen vegetables, and fruits. That's a great list. You can start there and knock it out of the park. So we've been going for a little bit now. That's episode 40. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and share this with somebody in your life. Share this on your page if you can. Try and help the show grow. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for throwing flex emojis. There's so much muscle in the comments right now. It's just a beautiful thing. There's just tons of muscle being flexed right now. So that's Ballin' on a Budget, episode 40. See you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Start asking your questions now. We have Q&A Friday coming up this Friday. So ask away and you shall receive the questions and the answers to your questions. So with that, I want you guys to stay strong and healthy in body. Stay relentless and energized in your spirit. And stay determined in your pursuits. That spells shred. Now go shred the day and get better in every way. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Class dismissed.